Hi there, this is Lawrence Brenner talking with some of the best people at Take-Two Comics. So let's talk about some of the transmedia aspects of Take-Two Interactive and the comics. So what some of the universes you're looking in and the media you're developing?
Well, see, Double Take, which is the name of the comic imprint at Take-Two, we're part of an overall larger entertainment company. So all of our focus is on expanding the comics that we're creating, the IP that we're creating, into other media. In October of last year, one of our first 10 titles, Z-Men, was optioned by Lionsgate Films. So we're seeing traction there. Several other books that we currently have out were specifically created to convert well into small budget films. Singular locations, a small cast of characters, and a very compact story. So those sorts of things are all things that we're looking at.
And also like easy to produce in transmedia form and stuff like that.
In today's landscape, when you're looking at Netflix, you're looking at Hulu, you're looking at television, especially networks getting into the comic game at a much larger degree than we've ever seen before in the history of comics. And then of course film. And then now you have YouTube channels that are blowing up like crazy with feature-length sort of
movies, content,
any kind of content. So these creators are everywhere. They're omnipresent, and they're always looking for the next piece that's going to work for them. So it's about making comics marketable on more in larger areas than just in comic shops.
And new discovery methods too for finding them via social media with the authors and
absolutely.
And of interest IP.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, our 10 books all take place within the universe that was established by George Romero's 1968 classic Night of the Living Dead. Everybody knows that movie. It's the first, one that people can point at and go, I remember this. This was a big deal to me. It's in the public domain. So really what it comes down to, you create this cohesive universe around something that everybody already knows, and then you expand on it. You let your imagination run wild, and it's just such a great unifying point for a universe. And I mean, the good tradecraft in comic books now is have a centralized universe, reward your fandom by allowing characters to cross over, and you have so much more potential to spawn new characters and thus move into other forms of media again.
And in some cases, since you can cross the media back and forth, you don't always have to worry about the sometimes a sandbox problem where it's like, oh, we can't have these characters show up in this form of media, where that used to be where that's where Harley Quinn was generated from the original, from the Batman animated series, because she didn't exist before, but now she's dominant in many forms of media. So now you can have this happen. So like if something came from like a televised or internet version of one of the universes, you could have that cross back into the comics and stuff like that, because everything is connected.
Right. I think a big part of it is just making sure that the content that you're creating is applicable to more than one media. So it's, yes, we are a comic book company, and we are focused on creating our product, our comic books. But always in the back of our mind, we're looking at, would this work as a TV show, a movie, a short film, whatever it is, whatever it takes.
Yeah, sometimes it's like you just don't want to end up something with Do you have ever problems where you can end up with like a Dune kind of density and then having to try to expand that out?
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
Do you have that? Do you ever worry about the problem where you can have like a Dune type of density in a project and then having to worry about to expand that out to other media?
It's interesting. Our GM at Double Take is Bill Jemas. Bill Jemas ran Marvel for 5 years, from '99 to 2004. He launched the Ultimate Universe when he was at Marvel. If you look at the work that Bill did at Marvel, and then you look at any of the current Marvel Cinematic Universe, you see the connection between the two. And when you get into, you have too. I am of the school that you have to have a level of thickness to your universe to be able to expand into other media. So there has to be, it has to be rich, it has to be varied, and it has to be, there has to be a lot of
connectable elements.
Not only connectable elements, but a big garden to pull from.
That's
You know what I mean? So you have to have a lot of elements because, you know, a director's going to get their hand on your work. A screenwriter's going to get their hands on your work. They're going to pick and choose what they want and what they like, and they're going to add a little bit, right? So I think it's really important to have something really rich to put out there, so they have lots to choose from, so that you're you know, not to sound like a creator, but you know, your creation, your baby is still intact at the end of the day.
And this helps with transmedia, so it's not just another forgettable kind of thing. It's
right, yeah,
because there's so much.
I mean, the last thing I want to do, or us as a company want to do, is put out a movie like, I mean, what's a good example? Like this Gods of Egypt thing, right? Like
heavily whitewashed.
Like they spent billions of dollars on that thing, and you look at one trailer and it's like, I don't like.
There's like we'll just see as everyone's general criticisms just from the trailer of things they did wrong, which you're correct.
It's so shallow. It looks so shallow,
and lack of diversity in things and stuff like that. Yeah. But that's what's really interesting about, like, with you know, the new brands actually being able to take the new things and do all the things that, you know, like there's in some cases there's not really wrong, but do things in the right way so that it actually connects to the audience. That's what I was meaning with connected elements, so that it can have various things that can connect to different kinds of fans and everything like that.
Right. Yeah, I think it's huge. You know, I was talking to somebody else today, and I explained, look, Night of the Living Dead. Everybody knows it, and everybody who knows it loves it. Because it's seminal in terms of filmmaking, in terms of creativity. George Romero and John Russo did just an amazing thing to film in general by making this film. And so you're going to get the people who like the movie to pick up your book anyway, right? What we've done with the books is turn it into, okay, we have this audience, they're going to pick it up. Well, now what we need to do is have them pick it up, and then they take it back to their comic book shop, and they tell the guy who's running that shop, this is more than just Night of the Living Dead. There's a lot more going on here. There's aliens, there's zombies, there's some kind of indestructible human thing going on here. It's more than meets the eye. It's not Transformers, but it's rich, and it's full of all of that comic stuff that people love. So they go back to their comic shop, and then it's just a cycle that continues over and over again. So I think that's the really important thing when we're talking about transmedia. We're talking about moving from comics to movies to TV, whatever,
and just connecting.
Have a rich sort of, you know, the soil has to be deep. And
connecting with fans across all mediums.
Of course. I mean, that's huge too. It's a struggle for a new publisher to do it, if I'm being honest. You know, the social media thing, all that stuff, getting content to them where they are is the biggest struggle that you have as a new publisher. Because you have your own vessel, but beyond that, you really have to scratch and claw for content and coverage.
There's so much, and there's so much that goes on now. It's just, how do you get through everything?
Right.
But it's a really wonderful universe to actually see and navigate through it. I look forward to reading more and seeing more great stuff from it.
Great. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.